Hello, welcome back to another Sunday live stream. I'm excited for this. Yeah, 11:02. I got you. Welcome back to another fantastic live stream. As you may have seen over on the Discord announcement, we're going to have a lot of new stuff today. Not that I intentionally did that, as usual, random selection of the order of things, but half of today's tracks, maybe 60% of them, came out in the last couple of months. It's pretty cool. I'm glad Johnny noticed that the the announcement was in a 90s infomercial style. Definitely was going for that. Johnny's here. Signups, Observe the Train, Artist Circle, FHI, again, Gardevoir, and the Youth Worship Explosion. I'm sure some more will trickle in, and there'll be plenty of lurkers as well. All is good as long as you're enjoying your time. All right, we're just going to dive straight into it. You demand a $2 refund for the missing time. $1 per minute? That sounds wild. 2 cents would have made more sense. $2 though. I don't know where your math is mathing, but it ain't mathing like my math. All right, we have some Yoni Mayraz. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Kicking it off today. This one comes at us from Kipper. Some chill, pretty vibes for a chill, pretty Sunday. Pretty stoked about this. You're old enough to remember the 1-900-976 era? I don't know about 1-800, sure. 1-888, but 1-900? No. I probably am old enough for it, but I don't recall coming into contact with those styles of phone numbers. Yeah. I do remember pay lines. That I do, but I don't remember them being 1-900. But I do remember pay lines. We're all getting old, and we don't need to be sad about it. Don't cry. There's no need for that. You just have to remember that in your age, in your time comes experience. The older you get, the more experienced you are, the more knowledge you have. It's not a bad thing, it's a positive thing. I am also trying to convince myself of this. All right, let's dive into some of this Yoni Mayraz Blue Ambulance live in the studio. Let's kick it, see what's going on with this. Also, oh, dude, great bass stuff just to start it off with. A lot of the stuff today is music videos. We're going to be swapping these video windows all day. Oh yeah, I'd love to learn that opening bass line too, and I hope there's some more sick bass work in here. That little run there was nice. Digging the flute as well. Congratulations, pair. The older you get, the more memories of youth you have. There you go. More opportunities for nostalgia. I was going to mention the drum work being a bit elevated from everything else. A lot of light, functional ideas in the other 3 instruments, and the drummer's like, let's go. The ghost notes are great here. Yeah, actually, the drums are starting to overpower the keyboards a bit, and the bass is certainly getting lost. Interesting track. I definitely enjoyed it. You kind of have to go in with more minimalistic expectations, though. I think the flute does a great job at keeping the song moving forward with their isolated licks being expansive. We don't get the same ornamentation all the time, and then we do have lead melody lines out of it rather consistently towards the back half of the track. But the bass, aside from the intro and outro, very functional. The keyboard is just the chord in that dun go go that rhythm over and over. I really wanted something else out of the keyboard. It's really interesting too because it seems like the keyboardist is Yoni. That's like the main that's the artist name here. And they allowed every other musician to be in the spotlight, which is very cool. It's just not something you see too often. So I really like this. I think it's a smooth jam, very cool atmosphere. The drummer knocked it out of the park, but you thought it was just the music in the background. But I wanted more out of it. All the pieces were there, but it all felt like foundation. This felt like an A section. I really wanted a B section to come out of this. In the album version, there's no flute. Yoni plays that line on keys. Oh, okay. See, that changes things up a little bit then. Okay. So it's well, see, that brings into question too about the arrangement of it. I think this works at being more authentic to the original, but given how much space there was since half of the keyboard part was shifted to a new instrument, would have liked something a little extra there. Maybe just spicing up the chords, the chord progression, the rhythm on them, something to just change things up a little bit. But I do agree, this was a fantastic drum highlight. The drummer was just consistently solid on this. Every groove felt great. Every fill just expanded the song into the next idea. They did feel a bit extra though. Everyone else is very chill, laid back, down to earth, and the drummer's got a lot of energy. The drums are the star of the show for me. I appreciate the space the rest of the instruments give them. Yeah, I can see it from that angle too. Solid start to the day though. Very chill, nice way to ease into our musical exploration today. This one we have has intrigued me because it's what is this? Was it it's not the channel. Make Weird Music is a channel that challenged. This was a really fun and challenging collaboration brought to me by Make Weird Music. Okay, so Gretchen Menn worked with Make Weird Music in order to make this song. And anybody who names themselves Make Weird Music is going to make weird music. I expect this to be rather weird. Hey, Spiral Out, welcome. Artist Circle too. I don't think I saw you earlier today, so welcome to the server. Welcome to the channel. Apparently I'm in live Discord mode somehow. Welcoming people to a server. All right. Where's this button? Next song. Anthony Garone and Gretchen Menn, Michael Manring, and Morgan Agron. All right. Oh, Anthony Garone is Make Weird Music. I got you. Oh, I did bring your name up at the beginning? Dang. My memory, it seems to be getting weaker and weaker. I'm going to blame that on the old age, though. All right. Do we have context for this? I didn't even get the... Why didn't that switch out? This one comes at us from Hair, a wonderful instrumental composition by Garone, elevated by 3 stellar fellow musicians. Complicated as... Still very palatable. I'm excited about this. Yeah, you know the drums are going to be in Taven Morgan's on them. That's I didn't catch that until now though. But as soon as I said the name, I was like, oh, okay. I don't think I know anybody else in this group, but I definitely know Morgan. So let's dive into this and see what's going on with Harnch 2.0. So we have a nice 5 right here. Yeah, so far this is very lovely. I don't know about weird, but we also listen to some very experimental stuff on this channel. So I think our window for weirdness is quite exaggerated. I do agree that the chords are interesting though. It's interesting because it feels like a halfway point between even like this, like there's definitely a Phrygian element to it, but it's not Phrygian, but it's not Phrygian dominant either. I was going to bring up earlier that there seems to be a halfway point between more Western chord writing and Indian chord writing. That right there is like borderline space rock, but again, still not 100%. Oh, the percussive palm muting is nice here. Off on the left. The tiniest cymbal. So we've shifted to 4/4. Interesting. Definitely in the realm of technical but palatable. I really like a lot of what's going on in here. And once again, it kind of fits that kind of laid back mood that we're kicking today off with. Very math rocky, yep, but not modern rock. It definitely harkens back to classic progressive rock. I think that the King Crimson elements that people were picking up on definitely felt in here. What I really like there is a shift from 5 to 8 because mathematically this makes a lot of sense because of the way that they phrase the 4. Well, the 8. But the 5 is groups of 3 and then 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. You kind of have this dragged out section and then the burst, and then the dragged out section and the burst. And at the end of the song, in that final minute or so, we shifted to 4/4, represented by 8 beats here. And they didn't transition to symmetrical 4 and 4. They transitioned to 3/3/2. So it is that 3/2 pulse they already had with an extra pulse of 3 in it. And so it feels not like a shift to 4/4. It actually is an extension of what they're already doing that just happens to fit within 4/4. And I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, it was certainly relaxing. The guitar work was nice in it. The drum work, the dude's a robot, just totally locked in at all times. The snare accent on 4 I thought was really nice. It creates this feeling of levity in 1, 2, and 3, and then you kind of get the 4, the accent at the beginning of the last 2 beats of the 5. But I do think harmonically, this is where it's most interesting to me because I have such a hard time placing it. It's exploratory. Oh, geez. It's exploratory, but uh, happy. It's like the positivity and endless possibilities of exploring a new space. It isn't the fear of the vastness. It's the opportunity and how optimistic you can be about that. Kind of video game vibey. Yeah, actually, there's some spacey, like semi-spacey parts of it that I think would work really well in a Metroid game. Um, but again, exploration is a huge part of the Metroid series too. I think that's why this sound works so well for that. But I do find it really interesting that at almost any point in time, I can think, oh, this is definitely like a Western style of chordal writing here, but there's also this Indian flair throughout all of it too. And it's there was no point where I was like, oh, this is clearly one style of chordal writing or the other. It feels like it's always in flux. Kind of the ratio between the two is always shifting, but you never have any moment where it's like 100% of one and 0% of another. And I found that to be really interesting. I don't know if weird would be the word I use to describe that, but it is certainly fresh, unique. Make weird music, not the best name, more like nice background music. Yeah, it's definitely unusual, and I think for your average listener, this would definitely be a bit weird. But like I said, our window for weird is very skewed in this community. So it makes sense that this was a bit more palatable, and some, or maybe even many of us, felt it really wasn't weird at all. But semi-unusual time signature, very interesting chordal work, instrumental. That's going to be weird for like half of music listeners right there who stick to the mainstream area. So I can see where they're coming from on it. Yeah, I enjoyed that though. I might have to go check out everyone who was a part of that and see what they do on their own. All right, now we have some Faetooth, and they're in my list of things to check out. This album came out last week, this week? I don't remember. It's fairly recent and make interesting music. On the one hand, that's fair. On the other hand, y'all think well, some of you think interesting the way I say it is a bad thing. So, I don't know. Make weird music's probably good. Anyways, I'm stoked for this. I remember you saw them last night. Oh, dude, so last night I kind of went to a concert. Kind of, not really, not at all. There's no live bands, but I went to see Hamilton in theaters, and I got lucky enough to be put in a room of what I can only assume was an entire class of high school theater kids. I was certainly the oldest person there. I was probably the only person who didn't know the words to the musical, but it was a blast with how much of a communal experience this was, despite it not being a sing-along. Like, it wasn't marketed as a sing-along, that they didn't have the lyrics up on screen, but it certainly was not everybody be quiet and watch the film. And it was actually really cool. I quite enjoyed myself with that. The only other time I've seen anything like that would be like, a Rocky Horror Picture Show, Shadow Play or something like that, where it's a very communal experience watching this film and participating in it. So I had a blast. Saw Hamilton this year. My bestie went with me, and I never saw or even really heard of it before. What'd you think of it? At least it wasn't a chicken jockey thing. I got lucky when I took my kid to see the Minecraft movie. Did I take? No. No, we waited for it to hit streaming and we rented it. Okay, so I didn't have to deal with that. Wait, did we go? All right, I seriously can't remember if I went to the theaters to see Minecraft. I didn't have to deal with anybody screaming chicken jockey though. That's for sure. It's really alarming how terrible my memory is though. Anyways, I quite enjoyed Hamilton. I watched it on Disney Plus. I guess about a month ago, 2 months ago, for my first time. Ended up watching it a few days later, a second time. This was my third time watching it, and I am quickly growing into a big fan of it. So glad the actual musical was my first experience with it. The energy the performers brought with them was extremely infectious. Yeah, I would love to see it live, but I don't know if I would want to watch a version that isn't the original cast because, dude, they brought it. And I'm sure anybody doing a non-original cast, I mean, they're gonna do their best. I mean, they're passionate about it, I'm sure. But dude, it's phenomenal. I guess I'm kind of treating it like a cover band where you can get really close in style, in vocal delivery, in guitar tones, in the playing, but there's like a part of you that knows it's not the real band, right? You just got that little disconnect there. Yeah, see, I imagine technically they're going to be on par, but it's going to be the little things, I think, that you just can't really replicate. But with that said, if Hamilton ever came around here, regardless of who did it, and it was a reasonable price, I think the last time Hamilton came down here to Florida, it was like 300 a seat, not original cast. But if it came down here for a reasonable price, I would definitely go see it. It helps that you hadn't seen the original yet. Yeah, dude, the price was ridiculous. And I don't know. Didn't really notice anything off after they got used to it. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'll quickly get sucked into it too. All right, Faetooth. Like I said earlier, I'm excited for this. The album's on my radar. This will be, I think, my first real full engagement with this, because I've only heard snippets of it to kind of gauge if I wanted to check out the album or not. A new Faetooth album just dropped. Can't wait to see them again at the end of the month. So let's dive into this. Let's see what's going on with the track Whole. And for some reason, have I had this confused with another band's? For some reason, I wasn't expecting this doom. I wasn't expecting metal at all, actually. 110 euros per person? That's not too bad. Even 70 CAD, that'd be alright too. A little bit of a tempo shift there. Yeah, I can hear that comparison. It's just been this gradual escalating the guitar tone and the drum pattern, the tempo, and now the vocals. The subtle retardando into the old lighter guitar tones. I really like the emotional movement through this track. Is that glitch, or are they able to do that with just their guitar and pedals? Well, to be fair, I think it is more of an emotional hold though. All right. That took me a while to get into, but I think ultimately it ends up working because there is sorrow, there is pain, there's anguish, there's uh, melancholy, there's haunting elements. It kind of captures this whole vibe, all with very similar composition throughout. I mean, it's just heavy guitars, heavy drums, the bass are playing what the guitars are playing. I don't even think I would classify any of this as having really strong, like, melodic ideas. There's no riff in here that I could just hum. It's all atmospheric, and I think they do a fantastic job of keeping the song interesting throughout this, especially given how repetitive some of these riffs can be and how long we will stay within some of these sections. But it does end up feeling like a very full journey, and not necessarily one that ends at a good place. There's just simply an end to this song. And I think they do a great job modulating the drums, the tempo, the vocals, shifting to the screams, going from the lighter compressed guitars or overdriven guitars to the louder and heavier ones. It's all of these little things that help tell this story while the chord progression retains its general overbearing moodiness. I actually don't know if this is in my list of stuff to check out because for some reason I thought this was going to be screamo or post-hardcore. Doom metal was not one of my expectations. So maybe I didn't add this, but I need to, regardless, if nothing else, just to explore what else this is doing. Maybe I just end up enjoying this one song of theirs, but maybe I also find a doom metal album that I quite like. All right. We have some elbow ahead of us. The track is Adriana again. It's an interesting title there. Comes at us from Stringhead. The chorus is so damn catchy. Also, fun fact, another band features in the video instead of elbow. I love that. Didn't dude, there was a music video, pop punk, very light post-hardcore maybe group did it, where the band was playing and like for the first half of the video the people watching them hated them, so they pushed them out of the way, and then another band came in and finished the music video for them playing the same song, of course, and the audience cheered them on. It was like in a diner or something. I can't remember what band that was though. Oh, I wonder if I am mixing it up with Fleshwater. Those words aren't similar, but they do start with an F and feature a combination of two words. Maybe, because Fleshwater is definitely, I had that on my own radar, even my own tracking app. Whereas Faetooth, I pretty sure I found on the Discord in the new music channel. So maybe that is what I'm getting it mixed up with. Fleshwater I'm definitely looking forward to, though. Band Circle had a completely different band put out an album under their name. Okay, that's wild. Oh, Fleshwater's Deftones? Well, something of theirs impressed me because I've been looking forward to that one. But now at this point, I don't know what I was looking forward to that I thought was post-hardcore. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out soon as I start making my way through some of the more recent releases. I'm still a few months behind on album releases, but I'm gonna ramp up my getting through albums time. Try to catch back up. I think I'm 40 albums behind at this point. I'll get up though. It'll be great. I'll zero that list out. I hope that by the end of the year, I don't have to put a list of albums I didn't get to in, my album of the year video. About Make Weird Music, it's a channel investigating really weird music. Trust me, it's Garone's channel. It doesn't mean all music he does himself. Oh, okay. Oh, and it looks like Fleshwater is post-hardcore. Okay. I'll find out when I get there, but if the tags are saying, that's probably true then. All right. Let's see what's going on with some elbow here. Adriana again.
Yeah, no, it's good. Right, whenever you're ready.
The tags have been consulted. So is this actually a different band playing a song that Elbow wrote, or just a different band appearing in the music video?
Adriana's face in a lightning flash. Crash this car.
The catchy little bass line in that verse too. Just appearing. Okay.
Come on, Adriana, 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 come on.
Yeah, definitely on the minimal side. Lots of groove, lots of atmosphere. Even when we get something melodic like this, it's on the simple side. So they have a synth, but no, they didn't get a synth player for this fake band or this other band. It is a very catchy chorus, though. Yeah, and I honestly think that's the heart of it right there. It is a very catchy track. Simple bass line, simple drums carrying us through the verse. We have all of the textures from the guitars on the chorus and the vocal melody, which it just grabs you. There's something very infectious about the melodies, about the sort of upbeat feeling throughout all of this. A lot of it is super simple, and there's even a lack of melodic directionality to it as well. In the bridge, we had more lead guitar work than anywhere else, and it doesn't really go anywhere. It's kind of difficult to follow the chord progression through the melody line. It just works in these very tight cycles. And so the end of the bridge into that final chorus actually felt anticlimactic to me because we didn't move through anything. We just kind of stood in place for a while. I found that to be interesting, almost like it was an anti-melody, whereas the vocal melodies are insanely catchy. The guitar melody is almost insignificant to the point of forgettability. And I think that's a wild contrast in melody writing. Hey, Helicon, what is up? Vocals sometimes gave a Josh Homme feel. That's Queens of the Stone Age, right? I don't know that I caught that, but honestly, I haven't listened to a lot of Queens of the Stone Age, so I'm going to take your word on it. That's a really good live stream song. I don't know that I would have a lot to work with there for a traditional reaction, but it's light, it's groovy, it's fun, does what it needs to do, and nothing else. So I can always get behind those for more casual listens. All right, next up, These New Puritans. ARP or ARP? I don't know what's the proper way to pronounce that. This one comes at us from Chris with no context. Very functional, just like an elbow. I like it. Oh, jeez. Let's see what's going on with these new Puritans, how they might differ from the old ones. You're obsessed with this song? Perfect timing to jump in then. Let's kick it. You picked it because it's catchy. Yeah, dude, that's a good reason. All right, Stringhead, have a good rest of your day. And catch you next time. So not only is that a massive tone, but it also feels like a ball being dropped where there's less intensity on each subsequent hit. There's also two parts to it, the very wide tone in the center, and then almost like a bass kick off to the left. maybe it is a bass drum and a synth combines. Oh, an ARP synth.
This is your complications calling.
It's a lot softer on the vocals than I expected.
Mister, your broken heart. No, this is not a dream. This is really happening. I see you, and I see you. Oh, this is some kind of truth. Kind of lie. Together we can fly. When I see you.
The production on this is incredibly crisp as well. I think that sells a lot of it. It becomes more experiential because of the placement of everything, the audibility of everything, and yeah, cinematic too. I really like that. That tone right there, it's sharp like metal but warm like wood simultaneously. I would call it cinematic in that there isn't a lot going on that's in the forefront. It's a lot of layers and textures focusing on atmospheric components. Although I suppose it could also just be a shorthand of, I could see this as background music in a film. But with the sounds being pushed out as far as it is, to me that's just a very large soundscape, which is usually a product of high fidelity production.
Let this music be a kind of paradise, a kind of nightmare, a kind of
Yeah, solid track right there. I don't know if it's something I would actively listen to. It does a great job at setting mood and atmosphere, though, and really residing within them and just saying, well, this is the sound we have, this is the sound we want. How do we get there? In some cases, in the most minimal way possible. What stands out to me the most on this, besides the emotional atmosphere of it, though, is the production. Each of the instruments sounds fantastic, and almost every instrument sounds like a composite instrument, where two or more instruments are all playing the same thing, so their textures get grouped together, such as that dual key thing that was going on that felt sharp and bright, just like metal bells, but also wooden and or sorry, deep and resonant like wooden bells. We also had that bassy thing at the beginning that sounded like a bass synth in the center, and the drum bass kick off on the left. But it isn't even just the combination of these tones, it's also how they get modulated as well, such as at the beginning, the reduced intensity on each attack in that low end sound, or about the keys, how they start off more warm and shift towards a brighter sound over the course of the phrase. It's all the little tweaks to it. This is a phenomenal showcasing in how to use production to create strong atmosphere. And I think that's my big takeaway from it. It does move just a hair bit too slow for me to really engage with it. I like individual ideas, but I found my mind drifting through a lot of that. The vocals helped a little bit, but they also were mostly these longer held out tones, so it didn't do anything to progress the pacing at all. You enjoyed what you managed to catch, yeah. It's definitely a song with a lot of cool ideas. I I don't know, dude. I, I like things that progress. I understand artistic merit to taking time for a slow burn. I totally get it. My brain just needs a little bit more though. I need lessons from Yoda. I would be a terrible Jedi. 100%. There's no questions there. I turn to the dark side so fast. You'd be like 1 hour of meditation. Forget that. I just want to learn some lightning. Similarly paced song with electronic elements. We did check out some, or we will check out some. No, we checked out Ihlo last week, right? Week before? Why do I feel like I did an Ihlo reaction recently? Oh yeah, we checked out Empire on the 25th. So about 2 weeks ago. And I did throw Legacy into my Spotify list. I'll definitely be getting to this album eventually. Like I've mentioned earlier, though, there's so much music to get to, and I'm a bit backlogged. So I'm kind of hoping that I'll forget about Legacy and Empire by the time I get to the album, and it'll be mostly fresh. I'm sure melodies or something will jog my memory. I need to check on something real quick, 3 minutes tops. I'll be right back. I am back. All right. Young Master Brian needs to gain control of his patience. Better get a refund for these 3 minutes as well. Jeez. It's going to be a big check. 0 times 3. All right. What do we? Oh yeah, we have Ihlo up next. We're going to check into this. This is a little over the 7-minute limit. 2 people who came together to combine their time. This one comes at us from 2112, going with a track from Ihlo's new album, Poppy, Synthy, Atmospheric, Slow Burn, Prog Metal. You know, at a certain point in some of these descriptions, it just sounds like music buzzwords. Ah, jeez. All right. Oh, I don't even have Spotify running. This track's a highlight in the album. Very cool. All right, let's dive in and check it out. Has anybody made music with blockchain, or I guess you can put music on blockchain to distribute it?
Is this not what you thought life would be now?
30 listens already? Didn't this just come out? Another song with really solid ghost notes. Perhaps. Yeah, August 29th. 30 listens in a week. That's dedication. Must be really good. That's usually where I get to. I try to think if there's any purpose to blockchain. I'm like, maybe if we did this with it, maybe if we did that, and it just falls apart. Gorgeous. Bonovation, I like it. The panning on that. See, this is cool because it takes like the general composition of Gent and continuously refreshes the sound of it by exploring new instruments with the synth, while still retaining the general syncopated rhythm that exists underneath it. It's a big bass guitar too. Yeah, I could see the Periphery analogy there. It having melody is definitely a big deal.
It's buried deep within us, screaming to come out and shine and reach out for the waves. So take a little more and turn us into
The synthwave arpeggiation on the side. Well, on one side. The other side is white noise texture stuff with pitch to it. Treble by the treble. Dude, that guitar tone. Very 80s to pull the song in with, to pull the solo in with that. The rhythmic cadence is getting tossed around a little bit. I wager this transitions into the next track then. Despite the water coming in, there's a lot of tension in it, in something that I feel is probably aiming more towards release, comfort. Oh. And the next track wraps the album up with a 10-minute longest track on the album. Yeah. Absolutely solid song with just constant growth through it. I think that's what stands out to me on first listen is starting off with just a few synth ideas and then bringing in drums and the bass guitar and then the vocals and then those screams on the outside into the electric guitars and then layering those and then bringing the vocals in, then removing the synths somewhere in there and then bringing them back at the end and then the solo, and it's just this constant rising. I think Pear said it best earlier, flight off of a mountaintop moment. Yeah, this song builds up so much and eventually it just takes off. And once it's airborne, it just stays up there, finding new ways to be majestic in its flight. It's also very balanced too for being electronic for half of it, or probably even more than half, and then very metal at the end. It all feels measured, feels balanced, it feels like it works. We do have a point towards the middle where there's a nice evenness of electronic to metallic sounds, but it never really feels like it's at odds with the fact that it has these two modes to it. I always feel like they're working in tandem, whether building into one or another or working simultaneously. The vocals they're powerful. Much like the guitar solo at the end, they add so much emotion to a song that really focuses on rhythm and texture above all else. I think it's a testament to the vocalist and the passion that they put into their vocal delivery on it. Yeah, I'm excited for this. I've now heard 2 tracks from Ihlo from this album, and I'm looking forward to checking this one out. I'll be interested to see what they do with some of their shorter tracks too, because both of these are on the longer side, but they do have some in here that are just the 2 minutes probably an interlude. They have some 5-minute songs on here as well, probably a bit more focused. But this really is just a fantastic merger of rhythm and texture and melody, bringing that genty concept into the framework of more melodic storytelling, and even beyond that, texture-based storytelling beyond the guitars. All of the different synth work at the beginning, like I had mentioned earlier, really helps the song seem interesting throughout that moment. The vocal melodies help a lot too there. But just having something other than guitars chugging against the backbeat, I mean, that's a huge plus here. Storm is 2 minutes, and it's lovely and not really an interlude. Interesting. I just figured it was because it is the shortest song by far. The next shortest is twice as long. So most bands would do that to create an interlude. It does sit right in the middle of the album too. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that though. All right, so we have some IGORRR, roar, lots of R's there. That right there. This one comes from Taranekla. They found a new way to play instruments. Let's just dive in and see what IGORRR is doing this time. The dude just, I don't know. You can't predict anything this guy writes.
À la fin d'HEADBUTT, il y a une note.
D'accord.
Et donc il faut que je la tape avec une pelleteuse.
Ok. Non, mais ça va le faire. Hein.
Okay, that's beautiful. The drum work is crisp though. That drum fill was precise. At a choir. All of that interesting intro just to do some straightforward death metal here. That's pretty much where I am. I'm always interested in new releases from them, but I don't always like the output. The piano smashing technique, very technical. Ah, dude, the glitch sounds so good though. Yeah, there's the headbutt. There's the excavator. Huh. The glitches feel like when you're driving and you have one of the back windows slightly cracked and you didn't realize it. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about this one. All right, bear with me here. As I'm sure you all are used to, I'm about to ramble. I got a lot to say on this one. I think we need a flashback to the second track when you said make weird music wasn't weird compared to what we often listen to. I like the more classical sections. The intro and the operatic vocal section, fantastic. Even with those really dissonant piano chords, just smashing the piano, if we're going to use the technical terminology for it, the good old piano smash. I like those moments. That whole part is cool. I like the way the drums work with it. The piano line's excellent. Very cool. But then we transition into the metal. And the drums, they're just blast beat stuff, constant bass kick. not really my cup of tea. The guitars give us this really dum 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 dum. It's this brooding slow pace. uh, I really should build some sort of bingo card, shouldn't I? And if I ever say all this stuff in a single live stream or video, I don't know. We should win someone should win a prize or something if their bingo card matches it. But the brooding guitar, just like this heavy step, feels cool. But the section with the growling is just like, it's one of those ruined by metal moments where I kind of wish things were mashed together rather than piecemeal. Because I find the metal just infinitely less interesting than the rest of it. We had a choir that was used for 4 whole chords. I could have used more of that anywhere in here. And then the song doesn't really pick up interest for me until the glitch stuff, which is very cool, but ends up just being the outro. I feel like the song's finally hitting a peak here. And then we just have 4 more chords consisting of piano mashing, piano headbutting, and piano excavating. And it just feels... where'd the ending come from? Why is it now? Why haven't we explored other things? I feel disappointed in so much of this song, despite the fact that there's a lot of cool ideas in it. And I think that's just where I land with it. I wish there was more. I wish IGORRR would be weirder. That's not a sentence I should be saying. It lacks continuity. Yeah, 100%. They used a made-up language for their vocals. You know, that just seems very IGORRR, though. A free special selection up to 6 minutes in length. That would be kind of fun. IGORRR would benefit from writing some longer songs. Yeah. Or, I don't know, just better pacing. I think, how long was this? 4 minutes? 4 minutes on the dot. 4 minutes is fine. That's that's a good amount of time to get through stuff. It's just, it isn't paced well. The cool things, I guess it depends. Cool's subjective, right? But for me, the cool things are such a small part of this. There's no real continuity to it. The pacing is wild. And like I said, when I feel like the song's finally getting legs under it and it's finally starting to run, it just stops. It's the end of it. I would have loved to see more evolution from that glitch element, bringing back in the piano arpeggiation, bringing back in the choir or the operatic vocals. I don't know. Trying a little too hard to be weird. The funny thing is, I honestly think if you go back to older tracks of theirs, what was that? Down-tempo Desert or something like that? And what was the first one that y'all had me listen to from them? Oh yeah, IEUD. That one I think is more weird, constantly flipping around between a lot of things, almost like an ADHD style of what we have right here. And honestly, I think that worked better for me than this, which just never feels like there's enough time to explore everything as fully as I would want it to be. We need some bands trying too hard to be weird. Yeah, 100%. I may not like it, but I will defend it because that's the kind of stuff that pushes the boundaries and allows a more palatable sound to, creep into that as we take the weirdness and kind of shave off the stuff that's too wild and round it off a little bit and soften it up and introduce that weirdness into a more palatable atmosphere. Yeah, I don't know. I feel a bit underwhelmed by this one. It just doesn't do what I want, which is weird because I would not ask this from any other band. IGORRR is just, they feel like they're playing it a little safe on this one. All right, devil music. This is what we have next for us. Also, why was that song called Headbutt and not piano excavation. Is there a cool portmanteau of piano and excavation? If you smash those words together. There's one headbutt, and granted, there was one excavator hit too, but the excavator is infinitely cooler than the headbutt. Headbutted by an excavator? Now there is a death metal band. All rock and metal guitar has basically been done at this point. The only way forward is to create new tones with effects, but barely anyone does it. That's fair. I think in general, most things have been done. Especially since we only have 12 notes and generally speaking, 3 to 4 note length in real usage of music. Yeah, over the course of 1,000+ years, we've definitely played most combinations of notes and rhythms. It's kind of what you do with it now. Oh yeah, microtonal. There we go. The way to get away from the repetition of 12-tone harmony. And death metal pushes towards 16th notes, and tech death tries to get into that 32nd note area. Trigger deathcore goes into the 32nd note area. So you can certainly push it within the realms of metal still. But you're getting really far outside the mainstream sounds. Start venturing into experimental sounds. But I think that just goes into the idea of being weird, exploring new things and seeing what happens. Speaking of exploring new things, some devil music from IGORRR. I'll submit what I think might be one of the better chances for something black metal adjacent to be enjoyed here. One of my favorite bands, Portrait of Guilt, released this EP where the first half is their typical black and screamo kind of thing, and then the second half is the same songs but with an orchestral arrangement instead of distorted guitars and blaring drums. The screamed vocals remain though. This is the closer, which is probably the best encapsulation. Also, after they submitted this... Oh, I've been pushing the wrong button. This is still IGORRR, not Magikarp. Anyways, this is a closer, which is probably the best encapsulation. After they submitted this, they realized I had already checked out the metal version, but they still wanted me to check out the orchestral version to see if it changes my mind at all. All right. There is a music video that goes with this, but it is age-rated. Age-restricted? Age-restricted. And as I don't want the YouTube or the stream to be age-restricted when I put it on YouTube, I opted to go for the audio only. You call me a coward? If I had a different place to host it, I probably would. But I don't want the entire... If it was a single video, 100%, we'd be doing the music video. But because it's a live stream, I want to make sure that the whole live stream can be seen. I don't want to age-restrict a 2-hour video because of a 5-minute song. That's just stupid. This isn't for kids. No, it's not for kids, but I think that if you're 17, you should be able to have access to a cool listening, chill music environment with positive musical role models who aren't gatekeeping and trashing genres that aren't metal and being open-minded. I don't necessarily make this make this community for kids, but I also don't see the problem with inviting older kids to it. Particularly because I do think it is a really great place for people to grow up within and to kind of have these resources rather than being in hateful places around the internet, especially when it comes to music. So yeah, all ages is the way to go. All right. Yeah, I've pushed the wrong button too many times here. I'll get all this fixed in a second while we're listening to this. Let's dive in, though, and see what's going on with Portrayal of Guilt. I actually don't think so, because it's on screen. But I do have a real big issue with YouTube's linguistic censorship and the stupidity around it. Yeah, I gotta fix all of this. Yeah, I'm totally loving the vocals. Hey Kay, what is up? Glad to have you on the live stream. You would like this if it were more black metal? As per the comments, the first half of this album does have a black metal version of it. Okay. That's cliche, but works. I'm certainly having a good weekend. Excellent music this morning. Well, we've had some good music this morning. And I got to see Hamilton last night in theaters, so I'm on board. Definitely a good weekend for me. Really massive sounds here too. What's creating the feedback over here? So while most of this has been acoustic instrumentation, I think here it's not. Not 100% anyways. Oh, for sure. I think in a weird way, all of this does fit together. Good call on the claustrophobic openness of it. And I assume that this is a guitar outro in the original. Yeah, dude. Okay, so I'm not all about that. I found it was rather difficult to get into at the beginning, but I found some footing in there. Particularly, I like the strings, I like the brass, I like the woodwind. I think all of that sounds great on this track. It's very expressive. It captures the dark moodiness of it all without the hyper aggression that you would hear from the distorted guitars. Is it new to me? Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of Dungeon synth, but without the synth, like Dungeon acoustic. Is that a thing? Um, but I don't think I've heard anything like that before. I'm trying to think of the number of songs we've listened to with black metal vocalists over non-metal. And honestly, I zero. How many times have we heard? Oh, you know what? I do think we had some black metal vocals over like folk instrumentation. It was like folk metal, but the vocalist was very blackened with their vocal delivery. That might have been it. I can't even remember what band that was. So yeah, very fresh sounds. Do they have harsh vocals? I always think of the lead vocalist, and I'm pretty sure she does cleans. Oh, well, it was I answered it for me too. uh, but I think without the vocals, I still enjoy this. There's good writing here, some interesting direction, and it's very theatric. It has a lot of very emotional components to it with very cool rhythmic parts in it as well. Even removing the orchestral bass drum and I think timpanis in there, you still find a rhythmic cadence in the accent points in the instruments. So they kind of create their own rhythmic groove throughout. The vocals are fine. I could take them or leave them. But I will say that it's nice to hear them a bit more expressive. There are different inflections to it, kind of shaping it a little sharper, a little flatter or duller, um, and just kind of changing up a little bit of the sound of it without, of course, changing up the pitch. They got some great desperation growls. Yeah, quite a lot of folk metal has the blackened vocals. Okay, so maybe I'm just thinking of a generic sound that I've heard in the past. A generic folk metal thing. It kind of makes me want to go back and listen to the metal version of this one. How long ago was that? Because I don't recognize much of this at all. May of 2023, so over 2 years ago. Yeah, that's probably why I don't recognize it. Plus the shift from guitars to the orchestra. All right, you got me. I'm gonna pull this one down. If nothing else, I'll explore the last half of this album that has the orchestral side just to see what else is going on there because it is some solid writing and there is cool layering going on in there as well. Not hyper layered like you would find in classical, but certainly more layered than I expect the black metal side or the black and screamo side to be. So it almost sounds like there's a little bit of additional writing in the translation between sounds, which I'm always gonna be behind that. All right. Next up, we have some blind equation. And it just dawned on me from my mistake earlier, I have to clean up one more thing. Do that and do that. Okay, we should be on track here then. All right, this one comes at us from Inky with no context. We're just going to dive straight into it then and see what blind equation is bringing to the story, bringing to the table with Flashback featuring Strawberry Hospital. Okay. Ooh, very strong start here. Got some glitch in there. I kind of like this. It's like very happy Latin Vocaloid music. What? Okay. Yeah. I'm not even gonna finish this song. I gotta listen to more of this. Anamanaguchi on meth, I could see that. And clean vocals. Dude, this is good. And the vocal melody is derived from emo melody writing. And counterpoint. Yes, yes, okay. Funky drums coming in. It's almost too fast to like dance to. Oh man. What in the world? Vocaloid Blackened Screamo. Electronic Blackened Screamo. Dude, I'm on board. I look way too happy. Dude, I love that. Yeah, this was really cool to go from IGORRR into their glitch metal into the orchestral black metal of the last band into this. It's been a very smooth transition somehow. I'm on board though. This is awesome. You look like you're gonna become a clown face serial killer. Oh man, where has this been all my life? You've heard this band before, but never resonated with it like with this track. That kind of worries me a little bit. Maybe the rest of their music isn't quite on par with this. Although the thing is, too, this just hit me. Featuring Strawberry Hospital. I don't know what that is, but if that includes one of the vocalists or a key element of this, maybe it's the punkier side of the song. Dude, that might... Like, what is just Blind Equation? I always hate that when I find a song I really like, and then I'm like, oh yeah, there's two bands working together. And there's a chance that neither of those bands are going to scratch that same itch. The clean vocalist is Strawberry Hospital. Oh, of course it is. I'm still going to check them out. But dude, that just burst my bubble a little bit. You just watched Weapons? I think I'm going to end up seeing Weapons soon, maybe this week. I mentioned I went to see Hamilton last night. Movie theaters are getting kind of desperate because I saw Hamilton. I got a $10 coupon off of another ticket. And if I go see a matinee of Weapons, it'll be $2 out of pocket. I feel like I have to take that. And Weapons I just keep hearing so much good stuff about it. So I figure it's worth it for $2. The level of despair right now. This always happens to me. I find something cool and it's a one-off project or a one-off collab, and I'll never get to hear anything like that again. Oh, they do have clean vocalists within the group. Okay. I'm more on board now. Yeah, it lifted my spirits a little bit. Oh, Zach is in it? I didn't know that any of the group was still doing anything. So that's cool. But yeah, this was a treat. I'm so glad we got to check this out. And to wrap up today, we have some Adjy. Why does Kids have a movie coming out? What? An animated movie. They still do Hangouts. I had no idea. The last thing I heard about them was Trevor's passing. So to hear that they're still together and doing stuff, that's good. Warms my heart a little bit. Gonna have to re-listen because you were too focused on looking up the lyrics. I'm kind of curious what they were singing about now. I didn't even cross my mind because the music was just that cool. All right. Even after Trevor's passing, they still get together. It had they're still really tight. Cool. We're gonna wrap up today with some Adjy. This one comes at us from Magikarp. New Adjy track. What else do you need to know about it? Let's dive in and see what they're bringing to the table to help us wrap up today's stream.
There in a field I
Nice 3 right here. Love the bells. Very bright, optimistic. So we went from comparing a band to Anathema to comparing a band about Anathelo. Yeah. Very warm, very comforting and accepting. Oh, that little grace note. The shift from the shouting to the extremely soft. That's a really good description. I knew it was going to be a bit more minimal in composition, but I do wish that the verse did a little something more. Ooh. section got me last time too. Such a warm part. I hope this song goes on for a while. Ooh, pulling the vocal melody into the bells. Yeah, I could see that. It definitely has that we all came together and did something great feeling to it. I think I can hear where the bells come off a little bit cheesy. And I actually think it's partially because of the flat production. Well, not flat, the dry production on it. Whereas normally when you hear those bells in like a metal track, they tend to be more reverberant, very large. Here they're a bit thin and they kind of come across as the same type of super clean, almost sterile production on them that you would hear in a commercial, an advertisement for, I don't know, car insurance or I don't know, a heartwarming Thanksgiving commercial for a supermarket or something like that. And I think that's where that kind of comes in. Maryland, dang, definitely a bit late. We just wrapped up our final song. But I will have this up as soon as possible. I would wager, as long as I don't have any issues with YouTube bots, next hour, it should be available to watch. A bit too close to drug advertisement music. That's what it is. That's what it is, which I know is like a very US phenomenon. But that's exactly where those bells fit. It's that bright, hopeful, optimistic, dry, pristine bell sounds. And now I can't unhear that. But it does fit their general indie folk production style, which does use a bit more on the drier side. I think it's why the vocals don't pop quite as much as they could. And it's why people were accurately comparing them to Mumford & Sons, who have a very similar style, both musically and sonically. Two people whose eczema's in remission, high five. Oh, jeez. The funny thing is, all the non-US people in the audience, they might understand that we have ads for drugs, but I don't know if they get it. Like, you'd have to go watch 36 of American drug ads on YouTube or something to really start to see the similarities between all of them and hear the similarities. It's such an American comparison we have for this one. Oh, man. But I think otherwise, I really like this song. It is this sort of joyful, hopeful sound that I really like out of Adjy. I do wish that the verse did something else. It's just a little too minimal for me, but I do like the shouty build-up, the call and response there. I do like the very warm, resonant bridge into that outro. That whole section just feels so warm and inviting and soothing and comforting. And that's what Adjy does really well. Drug ads are truly one of the craziest things. Yeah, they are. Hey, you person in the audience who is definitely, probably not a doctor, go tell your doctor about this drug. Like, no, your doctor should know about it. It's not your job to tell the doctor what you should be taking. That seems backwards, but that's how it is over here. Ah, good old US healthcare system. You're divided over drug commercials? I'm kind of curious. Yeah, I don't think they should be legal. It seems like a really bizarre thing. They still have ads where they aren't allowed to say what the drug is. It's just ask your doctor. Oh, that's interesting. So you could learn about something, or at least symptoms of something that for some reason your care provider isn't picking up on. And I think that's another issue as Arkonji brings up. That's sort of the doctor's job. But the other thing is, if their doctor isn't picking up on it for whatever reason, or isn't deciding to treat it, and you don't know, I don't know if I necessarily agree with it still, even in that scenario, but at least there is something positive that came from it. It does massive, yeah, because there's marketing costs to them now. So you mock them, but yay karma. At least you have a good sense of humor about it. The consumer's paying extra to be advertised to. Just the fact it's even remotely for profit. Yeah, I can agree with that too. It's weird. Uh, See, that's the thing. You could get a different doctor's opinion, but if you don't know that there's a problem, how do you know to ask another doctor about a problem that you don't know about? That's where, like, I don't know. At least having a word. You know, you watch the advertisement and you're like, well, that's kind of what I'm feeling. And now you have like a word, restless leg syndrome. That's something to bring up to a doctor rather than, a vague feeling. I don't know if that completely outweighs all the negative elements of it, but like I said, at least there is a silver lining. It helped somebody figure something out. There you go. That's exactly what happens all the time. That's fair. Feel something weird, tell your doctor. If they don't answer it, find another one. There's another interesting thing too, Per, is the use of the internet. Yeah, like I said, it is definitely something that way too many cons associated with it. But that doesn't mean nothing good came from it. Should we get rid of them? 100%. I still back that. Yeah. Anyways, going back to the music, I'm excited for this Adjy album. And we did, what was the album called? Alchemy? Alchemist? I think we did the whole album. Oh, it was the Idol Opus. That was a good album. So I'm looking forward to what comes next. That's a unicorn. That's a good way to describe something like that. All right, that's going to wrap it up for today. Then somehow on time, even technically a little bit early. I was 2 minutes late. I'm leaving 2 minutes early. You really want those 4 cents back? The youth worship explosion. Oh, I suppose I did take a short intermission in the middle as well. Geez, lots of refunds going out for this one, I suppose. $1 per minute. That's not how this works. I set the refund rates. Now I'll just stretch it over. We'll talk for 3 more minutes just so you can get your full 2 hours. Although what happens when I go over, do I start charging all of y'all extra? The stream went over. It's going to cost a little more this time. Searching for 976 commercials on YouTube. All right. That wraps it up for today. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me on this Sunday morning, listening to some awesome, interesting, and sometimes wild music. The video for this will be available relatively soon. Like I said, fingers crossed. We had a lot of music videos today. I expect this one to get blocked, in which case it'll probably take a few hours rather than one. But otherwise, it'll definitely be up today, probably by 5 o'clock. Early access will be available for patrons for tomorrow's videos at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for both of those. Get ready for this week, which I think is going to be very interesting. All right, we're going to check out some unknown gems this week, some smaller bands that you may not have heard of. So get ready for that, get excited for that. And until next time, I'll catch you all later.